Are you one of the many busy professionals working in offices day in and day out? Do you wonder how some people grow their wealth fast, retire early, and play on workdays? Well, you're in luck, because Ginny Bolling hosts this show, Pivot to Prosperity, where she interviews people that can do just that. Play on workdays. Many guests have become financially free. She also interviews people that are on their journey and people that are in support roles, like attorneys, contractors, brokers, and others. Commercial real estate is the common element. She is on a mission to be sure busy professionals know they can own substantial commercial properties too, like apartments, self-storage facilities, and others, and not have to do the work managing them. Passive investing is the key. Syndications are the typical method. Tax write-offs are some of the biggest rewards. Ginny and partners find the deals, build a strong team and business plan, then offer the investment opportunities to passive investors. New episodes are released every Tuesday at 12, so watch for new releases. If you want to get involved, let us know. You need to get pre-qualified to hear about most deals. See the show notes for contact information.
Hello, Ginny Bolling here with Pivot to Prosperity, brought to you by Pivotal Real Estate Investments, where we help investors build wealth and income through commercial real estate that also improves communities. And today we have Blanca Padilla with us. Did I pronounce that right? I should have practiced with you first.
You did. You got it.
Okay. All right. Good. And we have had a blast every time we get together. And you've got such a phenomenal history and what I'm really glad to get you on here. So
Thank you
I'm
for
going to read
having
your
me.
bio, your updated bio, but at the same time, I want to show, for instance, I'm going to go to the website of your company. I am on the page, hopefully people can see it, of Skyview Companies, very big company. And when I go to leadership, I always do this when I'm talking to people or getting ready to talk to, and I come down here and as usual, I see all the men, right? Oops, they had to move us. And there's always lots of men, but there she is, the one
Oh,
woman
yeah.
on the leadership team.
I kind of stick out there like a sore thumb.
Well, thank you for representing women because, yes, as they are slowly learning more and more, there's a lot that we can contribute. And
Right.
anyway, so I see a lot more women obviously on the sales team. But yeah, Skyview is a very big company. And so I'm going to read your profile first, and then you can tell us about the company, and then we're going to zero in more on you and what the company's doing too.
Oh, you
Okay.
got it.
All right. So Blanca has been with Skyview for 20 years in the construction industry and currently holds the position of Director of Business Development and Marketing Strategies at Skyview. Her expertise lies in managing large-scale urban mixed-use developments, having overseen over 1.5 billion in construction in New York City. To me, that's amazing, doing any construction in New York City with those
It is.
amount of work area that you've got. Oh my gosh. We'll come back to that. In 2017, she established Skyview Companies Florida and spearheaded the Beaumont Redevelopment Project, a 20-acre initiative in partnership with the city of Kissimmee. Blanca balances her time between project management, development, site acquisition analysis, business growth, and marketing. So how many hats is that?
A few.
Yeah, a dedicated member of the Crew Orlando chapter. She's actively on the board and co-director of the Special Events Committee. Her outstanding contributions were recognized when she received the Rising Star Award from Crew Orlando in 2023. Yay! Yeah, you to cut your teeth in New York City. I mean, so in my world, eminent domain, right? If we're taking part of a building, we don't have much area to work in. We buy a temporary easement that might give us 10 or 15 feet to get cranes in and whatever. So it's
Sure.
probably like working in New York City, really.
Yeah.
That's when
It's
we have
not
an
easy.
uncooperative owner.
Yeah. We were blessed with a pretty significant site, 13 acres in Flushing, Queens, which you really don't find that kind of real estate in New York City anymore. Um, that helped significantly with our cranes and our logistics plans because we had an entire New York City block.
And do you usually, is that for any substantial construction, do you pretty much only go after projects where you will have that kind of work area? Or have you worked on some of those where you've got a building within 15, 20 feet?
Typically you have a building, you're sharing a party wall with a building in New York City, usually, or you're on a very busy street. But when we started this project, it was in an industrial area, and this was a catalyst project. There was nothing like it in the area. So it was a little sleepier than most New York City blocks.
Sleepier.
Sleepier.
What does that mean?
So we don't have the abundance in cars and traffic as you would see in
In Manhattan.
Midtown Manhattan.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
for New York City standards, it was a sleepy little area.
Gotcha.
You didn't have a lot of traffic because it was industrial. So there were, you'd have workers coming in the morning, but not the abundance of traffic that you usually see in New York City.
Gotcha.
It helped a lot.
Well, so tell us more about that project. What was it? And that was your first project, are you saying?
That was my first project.
Okay.
I started in 2005. It was at the time, one of the largest projects in New York City. So this was before uh, the Freedom Tower started going up. 3 million square feet of retail, 1,400 condominiums, the largest green roof, I think in the US at the time. I think they're bigger now, but we had a putting green, basketball courts, tennis courts, uh, pool, everything that you can think of on the rooftop of the building. And we had 100,000 square feet of medical, and this was all on a parking podium. So there was a parking structure with over 1,000 parking spaces. So pretty significant, all on 13 acres, 30 million square feet on 13 acres of real estate.
30 million, 30?
3 million.
3 million. That's what I had written. Okay. Yeah. 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 Um, yeah, that sounds amazing. And so let's digress a moment.
Sure.
How did you end up getting involved in this?
Well, I like to say that it was divine intervention. I worked at a newspaper in New York City. We managed 16 publications. I had been there for a little over 3 years, and I wore many hats. I coordinated with all departments and made sure that the paper was out on time. So I worked with the sales department, the art department, editorial, and classifieds. Um, and I had to make sure that everyone had their assignments in before the paper was due to the printer. So it was very fast-paced and deadline driven. And I was also acting CFO for 3 months out of the year. So I trained with the CFO for a year because he used to go back to his country every summer. So I trained with him for a year before it was time for him to go away, and I understood everything he did by the time it was time for him to leave. And it was very hard to get to him. He was from Pakistan, so if we ever had a question, it was a phone call in the middle of the night. So I really made sure I understood the assignment before he left. And I did that for 3 years. And when I one day I went in and I said I need a raise. Back then I was making, I think, $35,000. That was over 20 years ago. And I went into the office and I said I was burnt out. It was long hours and a lot of work and
Oh, and a lot of pressure for
a
deadlines.
lot of pressure for sure. Yeah. And our CEO said no. And there was no negotiating. There was no no discussions, no. Um, so I walked out. I was really hurt. I felt like I gave everything. And it was more of the principle. I just felt like I didn't deserve that. I was worth more. So I walked out and everyone tried to stop me, including my mom. My mom thought I was out of my mind. Go back in there. You don't never leave a job without having another, right? But I couldn't do it. I couldn't put myself in that position. I felt like I was in the play. I was betraying myself. If I would have stayed, I would be betraying myself.
Yeah.
But I had a friend who was a recruiter and I gave him a call and he said, I have the perfect position for you, which was a role as a construction administrator um, for a development company. And I thought he was out of his mind. I was like, how? I know nothing about construction or development. But he said, trust me. He's like, I can sell you. You have good bones. He's like, you have a strong background, you have a strong resume. Just go, just trust me and go. And I did. I did. I went and I interviewed with the vice president of construction. Um, and we hit it off immediately. And we actually I think it was one of I think it was the longest interview I've ever had in my life. We spoke about everything. He had a Cuban background. I have a Puerto Rican background. He had done a lot of construction work in Puerto Rico. So we spoke about that. We spoke about the culture and we hit it off. We had a lot of commonality and he was a very pleasant man, very charming. We got along very well. And towards the end of the interview, he said, I should probably look at your resume. And we went, we should talk about the role. And we did. We spoke about the role. And I was fascinated. They had all the renderings up on the walls of what this project was going to be with the vision. And I was amazed that this was going to happen in my community. I lived in Queens. I knew the area. I thought that's that's going to happen here in Queens. I was fascinated. And going into a construction office, looking at the blueprints, it was an experience, and I knew I wanted to do that immediately. It aligned with what I was used to. Um, the fast pace, the deadlines, the vision was amazing and I wanted to be a part of it. And he told me, all right, here's the deal, kiddo. He said, I love your resume, but you don't have experience in construction and development. And I told him that's fair. I understand. He said, but I can use your experience. He really liked that I was acting CFO and that I knew how to do the accounting for a company, that I knew how to run the office. And he said, you have great experience. Let's make a deal. I'll offer you the position right now. If you can come in every day, an hour early, and we'll have a cup of coffee and I'll teach you everything about construction. And I said, deal. And the rest has been history.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And is he still there now?
No, he retired. 2010, I believe he retired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ah, well, that's terrific. And so we were talking earlier about what skills do you think have gotten you where you are today? What would you say now?
I would say being able to adapt and evolve within the company. How development can be. it ebbs and flows. We have our, it's feast and famine sometimes.
Mm.
We've survived recessions and downturns, and we thrive when we're doing well. I think that has been pivotal to my longevity with the company.
Ding, ding, ding. You used the right word.
I have never had a job that was beneath me. There has never been a task that has been beneath me, and I think that has um, also secured my longevity with the company. And there has never been a task that has been above me either. I think some people fear what they don't know. But if the opportunity presents itself to you, it's because it was meant for you. And we're all scared of the unknown, but we all have learned to crawl before we walk. And you learn. It's just a learning experience. And once you get over the fear, you'll realize that you were capable the whole time. Yeah.
I like that. I agree. I would also add, not that we're besties, but we've talked enough times and all. You're very relatable and you communicate well. So I would venture to say that first interview, that must have been what came out, because he wouldn't have seen that adaptability and the capability to evolve. But yeah, you are very relatable. So,
Thank you.
but yeah, I think that's all great. All right. Well, so what are you working on now?
So we just finished the Allen, which was a 312 unit apartment building in Kissimmee. It was a public-private partnership. And we are now moving on to phase two, which is the medical office portion of the project. And we were recently awarded the hotel site in downtown Kissimmee. So we're also working on a very small boutique hotel for the city of Kissimmee that has a mix of condominiums. And it's a small mix. They want to start a first-time home buyer program in Kissimmee. And we're also there attached to the site is a smaller site that has the potential to be more multifamily in downtown. So we have a lot of things we're working on right now.
Absolutely. Yes. And the Allen, you took a bunch of people through that. I was in that hard hat tour and we got to see it before y'all finished and it looked phenomenal. It really did. But I did not think you were going to make the deadlines you were saying, and you did, right?
We did.
Like
We did. We
amazing.
made the deadline.
Yep.
We made our deadline. The project was within our budget and within our schedule. So I think it has been a success story for Kissimmee.
Well, and you've
Um,
also won some accolades here, there, and the other place on that, I believe, too, right?
what's that?
Well, you're recognized for that as a
We were.
public-private partnership success, which in
Yes.
itself is a big deal.
Yes, we were recognized. SIFGAR had their deal of the year, and we were awarded for that. There was so much local participation. Crew awarded us for outstanding networking. So we received that award, and most recently, ABC awarded us with Excellence in Construction and the Eagle Award. So we've received awards both on the development side and on the construction side, and I believe Greystar has been nominated for the management side of the property. So highly awarded. We can say
Absolutely.
that. We can say that now.
And do you want to share a picture of it?
Absolutely. Let's
You have one
see.
handy?
I do, and I like to we call it our hero shot. Let's see.
So public-private partnerships, while you're looking, we can talk about that a bit. I've worked on a couple and they're tricky. You have to have the right people making sure the communication's going on, right?
Yeah, yes, this is the Allen.
Beautiful shot.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And so you have the pool and all the common area in the middle, right?
It's in the courtyard. It's what is what we call a double donut. And
Yeah.
I can share here. This was the rendering. Can you see that? Can you see the rendering?
I see the fountain and the apartments. Is that a rendering or is that a real picture?
Oh no, that's a real picture. I'm sorry. I guess I'm not sharing this correctly. I can share my screen and I think you'll see more. Do you see the rendering?
I see the same picture right now. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is the rendering of the site in its entirety. This is the Allen here. Can you see my pointer?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a double donut. That's the architectural style. And we chose that style specifically to give it an urban feel, which is what the city wanted. So you'll see that the pool, you can see a little bit of the pool there in the middle, but the court, yeah, so the courtyards are in the middle. That's where most of
Yeah.
the amenities for the building are.
And that gets really tricky, right? Because you have to leave a wall for the equipment to get back out,
Yes, we
or an
left
opening, not a
the
wall.
this back here, we left open for a while to let machinery come in and out while we were finishing and completing the courtyard. So this was open for a while. These are tuck unders or garages that are under the building. So it was easy to leave that open while we finished. And it was just the last part of the building to be complete.
So
Um,
those garages that you're talking, you call them tuck unders?
yes, they're inside the building, as opposed to the outdoor little houses here that you can see along the edge. These are also garages. We have a pickleball court now.
Yay.
Yeah, would love to have a competition there. I might need to talk to you about that after the call.
How many courts do you have?
It's one court.
I gotta have more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, one full-size court, and there's a shuffleboard. I don't know if you see it here, or bocce ball right here. You see the little sliver of lawn here alongside the
Yeah.
pickleball
Uh,
court. That's there. So there's bocce ball and pickleball court. There's tons of amenities. Um, I'm really proud of the Allen. I call it my baby. It's the first project that I was involved from the beginning.
yeah, so it was a leap for you, right? To go from New York to Florida. And that was a vision of yours?
It was. It was a very spontaneous move. I say that my most successful events in life have been very spontaneous, like for instance, leaving the newspaper. And I did the same thing when I moved to Florida. I was on the Skyview Park project for over a decade. That first project they did in New York City, I was there for 12 years, while we completed two phases and had to live through a recession, 2009 and 2010. Um, we we've seen our share of ups and downs over there, but we successfully completed the project in 2017. And once we were done with the project, I went away on vacation and visited a cousin in St. Petersburg, Florida. And I stayed there for a week, and I didn't want to come back. It was so peaceful, and I had been on fight or flight for so many years. It felt like I was always on survival mode. I didn't realize um, the toll that the rat race in New York City had taken on me until I had that time to rest and just decompress on the beach. And I saw a little house, and I bought it. and I didn't want to go back home, but I did. I had to. I had to go back, and it was very spontaneous. It hit me afterwards that, oh my God, how am I going to tell Skyview? How am I going to tell them?
It hit you
And
afterwards?
yeah, the after the oh, it was just I knew I had to be there. I knew I needed that for my own mental health and wellness. I knew that I could not continue to live the way I was living. I'd look like a different person, Ginny. I was overweight. I was extremely unhappy. I was unhealthy. And I knew that I needed to make a drastic change, and it couldn't get more drastic than that. Um,
And now
so
you have a daughter too, right?
I have three
Yeah.
daughters.
The three dot. Yeah,
And
okay.
yeah, and the oldest was finishing high school. And so what we decided was I sent my husband first, and I told him fix you can start, he's a carpenter, so I said you can start fixing the house while I pack everything up over here, let the kids finish school, and figure out how I'm going to break the news to Skyview. So I had about 6 months to get that done. Pack up the house, get our belongings together, ship them down there, let the kids finish school, and break the news to Skyview. So I finally did. I actually I took them out to lunch, and they said, "What's going on? You never take us out to lunch." And I told them I'm moving, and when you live in New York City, the farthest you go is Jersey. So they said, "So are you going to Jersey?" And I said, No, I'm going to Florida." And they were like, "What? Are you kidding me? We're starting a new project. You can't leave now." Um, and I said, "Well, okay, let's make a deal." We finished Skyview Park. We've been on this project for over a decade. Um, can I work from home for a year? I'll fly in whenever you need me. The startup is pretty straightforward while we get our bearings. I can do most of it from home, and I can do closeouts for Skyview Park, and that'll keep me busy for a while, that I think it took us over a year to close out that project. Um, we just found out a few weeks ago that we closed the last permit, which is such a significant accomplishment. 20 years later, we finally closed out the final permit. Um, so they said, "Okay, well, we don't see a problem with that, and maybe you can figure out in that year what your next move will be." And did that, move down, and once I got settled, I really started to um I really started to work on my health and well-being. I focused on that. I would work mornings until 2 o'clock, and at 2 o'clock I'd clock out, and I'd walk on the beach, and I started doing yoga and meditating and grounding myself and resetting my nervous system, which I feel like was um, imperative for me to make my next move. It really cleared my mind. It helped me think. I started making really good decisions, and I think one of the best decisions I made, once I felt like I was grounded enough, I started looking for opportunities here for Skyview. And well, we joked about it. Oh, yeah, Blanca's gonna open our Florida office, and they joked around and laughed about it. I don't think anyone thought it would happen. but for the next 2 years, we were analyzing sites down here. And in 2020, I visited the city of Kissimmee. And I sat down with the mayor at the time, Mayor Olga Gonzalez, and she had a vision for the city. And she said, I think you should meet with the city manager. And she helped us facilitate that meeting. We sat with Mike Steigerwald and all of the commissioners. And I took notes and I listened to what everyone's desire was for that site. And I noticed right away that there was an emotional attachment to the site. The city was very emotional and that they had very big hopes and dreams for the city. This was very important to them. Mike Steigerwald had this vision for 20 years, which I thought was amazing. And I understood right away that this was very important to them. They were supposed to release the RFQ that spring, but then we were hit with COVID.
Yes, COVID.
And everyone was in lockdown. The city was on lockdown. I didn't hear from anyone anymore at the city. And I figured that it wasn't going to happen. Yeah. I think and then I started questioning everything. Is this going to happen? Will we all open a Florida office? Like at that point I thought this is going to fall apart. We don't how sustainable is it? We were wrapping up another project in New York City. Um, we didn't so I believe during COVID we were able to get a special work permit because it was a mix of affordable housing in the building. They gave us a essential worker designation,
Essential services. Yep.
which allowed some of our workers to return, not at the capacity that we were moving at, but it did give us the ability to finish the building during the pandemic. And it was very tricky. But we pushed through it, and September 2020, Kissimmee finally released the RFQ, which I didn't think was going to happen.
Nice.
Yeah. And I used a New York City architect at the time. I didn't really know too many people out here.
Yeah.
So I went to the people that I know, but I think it really benefited me at the time doing that because the city's vision was to make this highly dense and urban, which is something they don't really have there. They wanted the walkability. They wanted us to incorporate the existing street grid into the project. And I can go through that rendering again and show you what streets we brought in because we made this, per their vision, we made this a walkable community. We wanted it to feel like it had always been a part of Kissimmee. We
Yeah.
didn't just want to build a big structure that stood out like a sore thumb. We're surrounded by single family homes. So there was a lot of intention that went into this project. There was a lot of design coordination. We spent many hours with our design teams trying to figure out what was the best, what was best for the community. And our architect over here, Charlene Brock, did an excellent job at
It's
capturing.
beautiful. It is beautiful. I like I said, I've been in there too, and we just saw the picture. But so yeah, and you've gotten a lot of awards. So, and you've been spearheading that for how long? When did you start and when did you get the CO?
We got the so we were awarded the site in November of 2020. Actually, it was November 3rd, 2020. It was on my daughter's birthday.
Ah,
Um, And it was very unexpected. I didn't expect a New York City developer to get that project. I thought they'd go with a local developer. So I also think that because of the pandemic, it wasn't as publicized as most of their other, which it also gave us an advantage. And I also think that we understood the vision.
Yeah, you
And
met with everybody already. Yeah, you did
yeah,
your.
I've met with everyone. We understood the need for the site is in the heart of the Medical Arts District. There are three hospitals within a 1 mile radius. They're the big three, I call them, HCA, Advent Health, and Orlando Health. Each have a hospital within that medical arts district. And there isn't enough housing for their staff. And it is something that the city was conscious about, and they wanted this to be geared towards the medical arts district. They wanted to support the medical community and their growth because there's significant medical growth in their community. So they also wanted Class A medical office, which doesn't exist in Kissimmee, and they wanted high density. About 600 units is what they wanted. 300 on the first phase, another 300 another 250 on the second phase. Now we lost, and I think I told you, most of the second phase to stormwater conditions. Um, However, we're still moving forward with the 100,000 square feet of medical office on the next phase. And if there's ever a stormwater solution, I mean, the city has been great partners and they've looked for sites that can possibly mitigate the stormwater. If that ever happens, we'd be happy to move forward with the remaining part of the project. So I can,
Yeah, that's the stormwater can be the thing that gets so many sites, right?
oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
it's one of the bigger issues here in Florida, and it's a condition that um we're not accustomed to in New York City. You don't have to deal with stormwater conditions.
Uh,
Um, so
well,
it does change, and that's
hang on, it's still coming up. Okay, there, now we got it.
do you see the arrow here? This is the Allen
Yeah.
here,
Uh-huh.
312 completed in we started occupying in March 8th of 2025. We got our certificate of occupancy and our first tenants moved in March. And then here was the second building. Do you see the second double donuts here with the structured parking in between? So
Yeah.
that was the vision. But and I'll show you. And here's the medical office back here.
So technically, is there four buildings? Is that what you would say?
This is considered one building here.
It is?
They
Okay.
just they share a parking garage here in the middle. So it's another double donut with structured parking in the middle.
I
And
did
here
not
this is,
realize that. Okay.
yeah. And then here, this is the medical office building here. Now we were able to move forward with the medical office building. However, I'll show you some of the site conditions here. So here is a slide. This is what the site looked like after Hurricane Ian. This is the hospital. There was over a foot of water in the lobby of the hospital. We can probably swim. Our site is here. We could probably swim from the site here to the hospital. Now, we had a temporary stormwater system at the time, and the hospital was working on their stormwater system when the storm happened. So the stormwater systems really weren't functioning the way they were supposed to because they hadn't finished their stormwater systems, and we had a temporary system. So this drained in about 24 hours. Um, However, when we went in for our permit to this South Florida Water Management District, they told us we needed an additional 12 acre feet. So this is an aerial of the site. And as you can see there, we have 1, 2, 3 ponds. right now. So this site here, we lost to stormwater.
Yeah, they tell us that at least City of Castleberry told our community because of the flooding that that was a 1,000-year storm event.
Yes, it was a 1,000-year storm event.
Hope we don't get any more of those.
No, I hope we don't get any more of those. I hope it gets better. I think as a state, as a nation, we're getting smarter. And I think development is essential. I know that
Yeah,
there's a lot of NIMBYism and the not in my backyard, but without development, we're never going to be able to incorporate the infrastructure that's needed um, to alleviate the conditions that come with the storms.
right. So tell us if there's something going on right now, or you've got a proposal out there. Can you talk about that at all? Or
Um, I can't talk about that right now, but we were awarded the downtown project and we are excited about that. We are in pre-development for that project. So we've started talking to our design teams and getting conceptual.
now, what's that one called?
So this is the Toho site
Okay.
in downtown Kissimmee.
Yep. Okay.
And we were awarded the hotel, the condominiums, and a small parcel where we can do a mixed use project, some apartments, but they want a grocer and a lot of retail down there.
So that'll be exciting. That'll be right
That'll
up
be
your alley
exciting.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Now a
it'll
couple
change,
less. What's that?
it'll change with downtown significantly. And I think that's my favorite part of the project is watching how we change communities.
No doubt. No doubt. That's excellent. We're coming up on an hour already, so there's a couple
Oh,
other
wow.
things we need to talk about.
Sure.
Not only are public-private partnerships something that you excelled at, was it just the one down here, or have you done others too?
Just the one down here.
Okay. But you and I both are very into urban renewal as well.
Yes.
So we've talked about the Florida Redevelopment Association and how they have oftentimes the need to get sites redeveloped, and they don't always have the training to know how to put together an RFP, RFQ. And so I was telling you, I think we should go to this redevelopment association and really try to get our message out. They have all these breakout rooms where they're talking about different situations, and what they do, it's through the League of Cities. When they put out RFQs or Ps for different things that are similar, they share them so that the other communities can use what's already been done, and then they talk and try to learn from each other, but they're bashful and they need to reach out. I keep saying, reach out to your investor community and your developers in the community and sit down, invite them to the table. And they are bashful, or they forget, or this or that.
Um,
So meeting them in this forum at the conference coming up next month is fantastic. And so I'm really excited you're going to be out there too. So
yes, I'm excited about that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They paid us a visit. They had a tour. They have an annual tour where they go to several public-private partnership projects and they visit just to get ideas and see what redevelopment looks like and what these private part
Public-private
public-private
partnership,
partnerships
PPP.
what these PPP look like and how important they are. And they were blown away by the Allen and this project. And I think we all understand the importance. We need the city and the county buy-in, to be able to create these redevelopment opportunities. We can't do it without them. They had a very big vision, but if we wouldn't have been able to do this type of project without their buy-in. And they understood that. They understood that. And I shared my contact info with them, and I'd love to continue the discussion. I think it's important for us to continue to gather and come up with creative solutions because we're all smart enough and we're all capable and we all know the right people. So with a little effort, I think we can make these projects happen.
So do you know for sure that the Allen is not being presented this year at the conference?
I don't believe so. They
Okay,
didn't.
so it'd be
Yeah.
through the city if anybody, otherwise you'd know. But
Yes.
next year, I think you need to do it.
Oh, yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, you need to put in for it before June when they're
Okay.
asking for speakers. So
Okay.
we'll have to get you in on that. But
Yeah.
and then brownfields are one of the other touchy topics, and and opportunity zones. I mean, they're all so ripe with need for good development. And
Absolutely.
yeah, opportunity zones are coming back, and as you know, and
I see that. Yes, I've seen a few cross my desk actually. Um, not big enough. The ones that I've seen have been very small. And I wouldn't even know what to wouldn't even know what to do with them. But I'm hoping the right opportunity does present itself. As far as Brownsfield, the project we did in New York City, 13 acres, was a brown site. And our first year, when I started in 2005, we were breaking ground and we were starting remediation. We did $25 million in remediation, and it took a year to fully remediate the site. And
that
I
was
believe
soil, water, both.
both,
Yeah,
mostly soil. It was mostly soil, but we were on the Flushing River there. Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. And so knowing who has those skill sets is really a big deal. So I think that yeah, you need to make sure people know you've worked with that before, because a lot of
Yeah.
people don't want to touch it, that's for sure. And we when we were doing eminent domain, we always had to make sure when we do that we're,
Yeah.
but I haven't managed a project in a few years, but I mean, you always have to clear the right of way as best you can. And so we would do, remediation on the soil, but sometimes water just, can only do so much too. But yeah, it's a different area of expertise for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There were a lot of learning lessons on the remediation side. It's a big job.
And it's evolved since in '05. So when I really was deep, deep into it, it was the mid '90s and early 2000s.
Okay.
And everything was a big deal. So
Yes,
you were at the tail end of that, I guess, really too. And now it's not quite as crazy, I understand, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
it is a big deal.
And,
Yeah.
anyway, so we're coming up on we got to get off here. So
Okay.
ask you the question I ask everybody. Is there a pivotal person or event that you would say has brought you to where you are today or is pushing you towards some goal?
There have been a couple of pivotal people. I would say Cesar Villanueva is one of them, and he was the VP of construction that interviewed me. Um, he believed in me,
And what
and
is his last name?
Villanueva,
Oh, you gotta spell that.
Villanueva.
Just like it sounds. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Um, he believed in me, and that made a huge difference. Um, and he mentored me and gave me a huge opportunity, and it changed the trajectory of my life.
Yeah.
So I'm eternally grateful for him. And then one of my mentors here in Orlando, I would say, is Cindy Campbell, and she's a real estate attorney with Greenberg. And I met her here at a bar,
Yeah.
and we were chatting. We didn't realize we were both in the same industry, But when we got to that topic and we started talking about what we did for a living and she realized what I was doing, she's like, "You're my people." And she brought me into crew right away. And crew has changed my life.
Crew's a lot of our people, really, a lot of credentialed experts in their field that I think make people like you and I thrive. They're much more reliable, much more. I'm not saying more. I shouldn't say more. They're they're you know what to expect. You know,
Yes,
it's a more quantifiable relationship. I guess
a
that's
hundred
a good way
percent.
to put it.
I call it a safe place to do business.
Yeah,
I've had experiences where I've done business with the wrong people and it affected me. It affected my career. It cost us money. Um, and I would have to say I had a little bit of trust issues when going out there and doing business with people. But it was a learning lesson because I became very intentional about who I was doing business with. And I believe business and integrity go hand in hand.
yeah.
And when I arrived to Crew, I knew that I was in a safe place to do business. These women are not um, in a position to um, they're in a position to help you thrive. And we support each other and we have our best interests. And it was the first time in many years that I had friends. So it became more than business, it became personal. I would say it's hard to find friends um, when you're career driven. And I finally had friends that were like-minded and we're able to do business and a whole lot of fun things together.
Plus, more women. It's so hard to find more women in the
It
same industry
is.
too.
It
So
is, and it makes my heart smile when I walk into that room. Um, they helped me find my voice. They helped me find my voice. They've supported me. They've given me so much knowledge to come back to my boardroom with, and it allowed me to open up more and walk into my office with confidence. It's not always easy being the only woman in the office. But it does help when you know what you're talking about and when you have friends to back you up.
yeah.
And I would definitely say Cindy Campbell was a pivotal person for me.
Very good. Well, so as you know, but as I need to explain, you make a nomination, you can call them and tell them they were nominated, or I can call and say that you
Okay.
nominated them.
Yes.
And if they come on the show, we do the woohoo and special promotion. And then
Okay.
they get
Love
a
it.
lapel pin that
Okay.
says pivotal person.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
know Cindy?
I don't think I do.
Okay. She was the past president of Crew. She was
Oh,
president
Cindy,
last year
Cindy. Oh
before.
my, that is her last name.
Yes, yes.
She and I have a couple things in common. Yes, we do.
Yes, yes.
But I haven't sat and talked with her at length though. Right, right. But
Yeah.
yes, she's a ball of
And that's
fire.
another thing about Crew that I love. We all have amazing stories to share.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a sweetheart. Yes. Yeah. Good, 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 good. Well, I will. Well, do you want to call her or do you want me to is the thing? All right, both of us.
I I think we should both talk to her.
Okay, we can both talk to her, but you got to call
Yes.
Caesar and
Yeah.
we'll make it happen. But yes, so good to have you on the show and finally get to talk through some of this because I think you're amazing. I love that you have you were the pivotal person on that Allen project and that was a huge project and you're just I think really trailblazing for a lot of other women to see that they can step up to. So the more you raise your visibility, the more I think you'll raise others. So I
Thank
encourage you to
you.
do that.
I appreciate those words. I
Yeah,
really do. Thank
yeah.
you.
All right. Well, so why don't you tell people how they can reach you?
So you can reach me at bpadilla@skyviewcompanies.com. That's my email. And I'm always at the Allen, so you can pay us a visit there. You can visit our website, which is skyviewcompanies.com as well.
Very good. And it's an excellent company. It definitely has a great reputation that's been involved in many big projects. So I think that you're in a great place for being able to make a difference.
Thank you.
So, all right. Well, thank you. And we will put all that in the show notes so people can find you, and we'll have this go live here probably in a week or two. We're pretty caught up. So yeah,
Okay.
very good. All
Thank
right.
you. Can't wait
Well,
to see
thank
it.
you. Yes.
Take care, Jenny. Thanks for inviting me.